Hey guys, today we're diving into the iMovie app. I'm going to show you all the things the iMovie app can do, and then you're going to see my process as a professional editor using the iMovie app. I've got some tricks and hacks to show you, but first let me just show you all the things the iMovie app can do. Okay, you're going to open that iMovie app. The first thing you're going to do is hit Create Project. Now, you can create a movie from scratch, which is what we're going to be focusing on today, but you can also create a trailer. Let me just open that up real quick for you. These are templates that you can use to create what's almost like a movie trailer, and they utilize these different graphical animations, and you just plug in your own video shots and change the text as you see fit. But we're not going to do that today. Let's make that movie from scratch. So the first thing you're going to do is hit Create Project. Let's select that film strip to make a movie, and we're going to navigate in our photo library to select the video clips that we want to work with. I'm going to select these two. We're going to hit Create Movie here at the bottom of the screen, and then it brings you into the iMovie editing interface. So let me show you what you're seeing here. At the top of the screen are your two clips, uncropped exactly as they are, and then below is sort of what's referred to as your timeline. So you can see here the order of the clips as they play. I'm just going to hit this play button to show you what we've got. We've got these two behind the scenes clips from a recent shoot. So I'm just going to show you a few things you can do with just these two clips to give you an idea of how to use iMovie. If you want to reorder these clips, select the one you want to move, hold your finger down on it until it turns into this little square box, and then you can actually reorder the clips in that way. So now you see the outdoor clip is before the indoor clip. If you want to just scrub through your clips, you just kind of hold your fingers over those film strips in the timeline, and you can play forward and backward at your own speed. And then if you want to see what they look like in real time, you just hit that play button. Okay, let's add some spice to these two clips. First, let's trim up this first clip because as you can see, it's a lot longer than my second clip. So what I'm going to do is select it by tapping on the clip once, and you see these icons appear at the bottom of the screen. The first one is scissors, and you can see that I've got these yellow handles on either side of the clip. I can actually trim the clip by grabbing on either handle and holding down my finger and dragging to shorten this clip, and I can do that from both sides. Kind of just tighten things up. Sometimes at the beginning or end of your clip, there's some junk on there that you don't really want to see. And then if you change your mind, you can go back and add length. The next icon when you're selected on the clip is this clock. You can change the speed by speeding it up or slowing it down. And if you change your mind about the speed, you can hit this back button to undo what you've just done. The next one is audio. So if you just select that, you can raise or lower the volume. The next one is text. We can add these little text animations to our clips. And there's a lot of different options in here. You can preview how the text animates in by just waiting and watching these little thumbnails, and they'll show you what the action is. Let's pick expand. And let's add text. Just click on the text in your canvas. That's that top full window at the top of the screen. Hit edit and use your keyboard to type in any text. And we can play back to see how that animation works. Now, we can make a lot of modifications here. Again, select the text in your canvas. And if we want to change the font, hit these two A's toward the bottom of the screen and look at how many fonts you get with iMovie. It's actually pretty impressive. These are a lot of fonts. Let's go Helvetica New. And if you want to change the weight of the font, see this little arrow here next to Helvetica New, select that and look at all the different weights that we get. So now we can also change the color of the font by hitting this icon. You can use the spectrum to drag around and find that perfect color. You could use this grid. There's a lot of options for getting text in here. We'll leave it there. And you can actually change the size of the text by selecting that text and using two fingers to scale it up or pinch it down. The other thing you can do is hit these three little dots. You can turn on or off the shadow. You can have it be default, which is center screen, or you can turn it into a lower third. You can make it uppercase, you can add a default sound effect, and you can turn on that the text will last through the full clip duration. To exit out of that, just hit anywhere on the screen. Let's cue our clip up to the very beginning, hit that play button to see what we've got. All right, next up, you'll notice that there's a crossfade between my two shots. And I can change what kind of transition is between my two clips. So you can have none, which is a straight cut, theme, which we're gonna get to shortly, dissolve, which is the default, slide, which means the next clip will slide over the last. You can actually change by hitting that slide button several times, the direction of the slide. Wipe, same thing. You can change the direction of the wipe by hitting that button and getting different options. And then fades it to black and back up. Now let's get a little bit more advanced by playing with the themes. You can hit this gear at the bottom of the app and you're gonna get a lot of options here. Now, the first thing you see is project filters. You can apply a filter to every shot in your project. Let's select Dreamy. And then you can also add a theme. Now the theme will impact the way the graphics and transitions look. Let's pick this playful theme. We can add the default theme soundtrack. We can have the project fade up from black and fade out to black, and the speed can change the pitch of the natural sound on the clips. We're not gonna do that. Let's hit done and see how different our project looks. So the first thing we notice is that that filter is applied to both of our clips equally. If I want to change how affected the clip is with that filter, I'm going to select the clip and I'm going to hit these three interweaving circles here. We can actually completely change how affected the clip is. Let's hit Dreamy again, and you get this slider here. Right now it's at 100. We can dial it down so it's less affected, or we can totally change the filter. This one is duotone again. You can change how affected it is. We can go vintage. You get the idea. Now let's go back to this transition here and let's hit the theme button for that specific theme. That is the default transition. And now you'll also notice that we've got this green bar at the bottom of our timeline. This is playful. This is the sound that comes with this theme.
You don't want influences, so you're not.
All right, so those are some of the features in the iMovie app that are unique to the iMovie app. Those themes, those particular text animations, those transitions, they're not wild. I would say that there's other editing apps for your iPhone that have many, many more transitions. But now let me show you as like a professional editor how I would use this tool to make like a real mini movie on my phone. So here we are in iMovie. Let's create another project. This one we're gonna do for real. Let's hit that big plus sign. We're gonna hit movie. And this opens me up in my photo library. I'm actually gonna hit the back button on media, and this allows me to access my albums in my photo library. So I'm gonna find the right one. And here's a bunch of related clips. I'm gonna select just the clips I know I want to include in this video. And I'm gonna hit create movie. Now what you see is all of my clips laid out in the order in which I selected them. So the first thing I would recommend doing is going in and cleaning up all of your clips, trim out all the fat on either side of the beginning or end of the clip that you want to trim out. Okay, and I do see that there's one clip here that I grabbed the wrong one. This is not uncommon. Let me show you how to fix that. What you're gonna do is select that clip, and you want to be selected on the scissors at the bottom of the screen and just hit delete. And then if we want to go back and find the right clip, let's hit this plus sign, go back to albums, and find the proper shot that we actually wanted, which would be this one. And then hit that plus sign to add it, and it dropped it right into exactly where we wanted it. Let me just trim that up. Okay, so here's where we are. I've laid in all of my shots and I've cleaned them up to just the portions of the shots that I want. The next step for me would be to reorder them in the order I want them to appear in my video. So just like I showed you before, in order to reorder your shots, you just want to hold down the clip until it turns into a square and drag it in the timeline where you want it to go. Okay, now I feel pretty good about the order of my shots. The next thing I would do as a professional editor is I want to change all of these transitions. I actually don't like cross dissolves. In fact, I don't really like any of the transitions personally that come with iMovie, so I'm going to turn them all into straight cuts. And our next move is a little bit of advanced placement. What I'm going to do is take this soundbite and I'm going to select it just by tapping on it once in the timeline. And I'm going to hit this button here called detach. And what that's done is it's separated the audio from the video in my project. Now, why would I want to do that? I'll tell you why. Because I want to be able to hear the soundbite, but see other things at the same time. So what I've done is I've hit that detach and I'm actually going to trim up the soundbite shot, the video part, just where I want the speaker to be on camera. And you can see what's happening. My previous shot is going over this blue bar, which is the audio soundbite. So let me play this back so you can see what's happening.
Best part about using the drone in the video shoot is that you get some really cool, wow, beautiful shots. They give you a wide.
That to me looks great, but you might notice that the natural sound on my B-roll shots is a little bit too loud for the sound bites, right? It's hard to hear Rob talking when the drone is whizzing by. So we can adjust that by selecting each B-roll clip, hitting this volume button here at the bottom and dialing that volume way down.
Best part about using the drone in a video shoot is that you get some really cool.
Okay, so we've got a pretty basic edit going here. I've got some straight cuts. I've got my soundbite. I've got the soundbite laid in underneath some B-roll. Gives it a little bit more of a professional feel. I'm going to do a little bit more tweaking. The first thing I'm going to do is add a filter to the interviewee. So what I'm going to do is select that shot. I'm going to hit these 3 circles. And I'm going to select the blockbuster filter. Now it's too affected the way it is. I'm going to dial it down with that slider. And the other thing I want to do is I'm going to crop a little bit tighter on the speaker. So I'm going to select the clip in the timeline and then up in my canvas, see this little magnifying glass? I'm going to press that and I'm going to take 2 fingers and slide up a little tighter.
You get some really cool.
Okay, very good. We're so close to being done. The next thing I'm going to do is select that soundbite clip again. Let's hit the text tool at the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to use this title. And to modify the text, just click it in the canvas, hit edit, hit the done button. Now I'm going to head on over to the options icon, these 3 little dots, and we are going to select style and we're going to turn that into a lower third. So it's like a name super. We're going to go back and I want it to stay on through the full clip duration. So I'm going to turn that on and then I'm going to X out of options. Let's see how that looks.
Is that you get some really cool, wow.
Okay, I feel like it's a little bit too far into the center of the screen. So I'm going to select it in the canvas and drag it more into the corner. All right, and the last thing we're going to do is add some music. I'm going to hit this plus sign and we're going to find audio here. We're going to hit soundtracks, and these are all pre-licensed music cuts that you can use in iMovie. There's a fair amount of them. I wouldn't say there's tons and tons and tons, but there are kind of a lot. So I'd say that's pretty good. I'm going to select this one, hit the plus sign to add it to my project. It automatically starts at the very beginning of my project.
Best part about using the drone in a video shoot is that you get some.
I feel like the music's a little loud, so I'm going to select it, that green bar, and I'm going to dial down the music.
Best part about using the drone in a video shoot is that you get some really cool, wow, beautiful shots. They give you a wide span of look at the whole area, but more importantly, it's the really cool effect that you get when you're seeing it from above that you normally don't get to see.
So there you go. That's how we made a full, completely edited video in iMovie with music and graphics and sound bites and B-roll. It's like a whole package we just created in a few minutes on the iMovie app. What I like about the iMovie app is that it's really stable. You know, I'm on an iPhone and it is an Apple product, so I would hope it would be really stable, but it's very common in video editing apps, in my experience, that they can crash or stall out. And this one is really, it's definitely a workhorse. It's pretty intuitive to use, I think, and it's a pretty simple app. Where I think it's lacking is that I don't think there's enough filters. I think there's those themes in there, but to be honest with you, those themes, I'm just not crazy about them. You know, they're a little cheesy. I think that if you're someone like me and you like a lot of restraint anyway, you probably wouldn't be reaching for those themes and those kind of gimmicky elements in an edit, that you would be really happy with the iMovie app. The one section where I do think it's really lacking is in terms of audio editing. I couldn't, you know, raise up my music level when I had B-roll and then lower it when I had someone speaking and then raise it back up at the end. You have to just have like a continuous volume on the music, and that for me is definitely problematic. So I definitely think there could be improvement there. So while the iMovie app doesn't have all the bells and whistles of a paid app that you would find in the App Store, it's definitely a great basic video app, especially if you're someone like me who doesn't like to use all of those like cheesy filters and transitions. If you really know what you're doing with video editing, you know the story you want to tell, iMovie is a great option, and lucky for you, if you have an iPhone, it's already installed on your phone. So I do recommend iMovie for a lot of you phone video editors out there. You guys, what other apps do you want me to check out in the App Store? Let me know in the comments below, and I thank you for watching. I'll see you again.